Welcome, dear children, to today's topic. Today we are discussing free fall. What do you mean by the term free fall? Free fall means the motion of an object under the effect of gravitational force only. That means when we drop an object, what do you mean by dropping an object? You hold the stone in hand and drop it. Dropping and throwing are different. Okay, simply dropping an object and throwing an object, both the situations are different. When we speak about object is dropped, means its initial velocity will be equal to 0. So what I said, when a body is dropped, its initial velocity is 0. But when a body is thrown, even if it is thrown downwards, okay, when it is thrown downwards, its initial velocity is not equal to 0. So that is the difference between a dropped object and a thrown object. So when a body is dropped, the body falls down under the influence of gravitational force alone. So such bodies are called as what? Freely falling bodies, or the motion is called as free fall because the object is falling only under the influence of gravitational force. Okay, and under the influence of this gravitational force, the body acquires an acceleration, and that acceleration is called as what? Acceleration due to gravity. Okay, so actually when we speak about freely falling objects, air resistance will be there, but when we consider the acceleration due to gravity, we can neglect this air resistance. So when air resistance is disregarded, all objects dropped near the surface of a planet, okay, generally we are speaking, near the surface of a planet fall with the same constant acceleration. And this acceleration is called acceleration due to gravity because it is due to the gravitational force. Okay, and that motion is termed as free fall. Okay, so for all the freely falling bodies, there will be acceleration in the downward direction, and that downward acceleration is called as acceleration due to gravity. Hope it is clear. Now, it was the scientist Galileo who studied about this acceleration due to gravity in detail. He wanted to find out the value, whether this acceleration due to gravity depends on mass. Such things he wanted to confirm. And first, he conducted the experiment from the top of Leaning Tower of Pisa. You can see in the slide, from the top of Leaning Tower of Pisa. You might have heard of Leaning Tower of Pisa. Okay, so from the top of Leaning Tower of Pisa, he was dropping objects, and at the bottom of this tower, at the ground level, people were standing to see which object reaches the ground first. So at first he was trying with iron balls or metallic balls of different sizes and different masses he was trying. So when he tried with different masses, he could see that the objects which are dropped at the same time, they reached the ground at the same time. There was no difference in time on reaching the ground. Whether it is a 100-gram object or 1 kilogram object, both the objects, if they are dropped at the same time, if they are dropped simultaneously, the word simultaneously means at the same time. So if they are dropped at the same time, they reach the ground at the same time. Okay, so that was the first observation. So he was dropping the object from the top of the Leaning Tower of Pisa, and the people were observing who reaches first at the bottom. This was the famous experiment which was conducted from the top of Leaning Tower of Pisa. Okay, and after that he tried with the different objects. Finally, the trial came with the feather and coin, that means with the smaller objects. So when they tried with feather and coin, in the case of feather, we cannot neglect the air resistance, isn't it? Very soon it will come under the influence of this wind. So on trying from the top of Pisa, that means Tower of Pisa, that experiment was a failure. That means this feather was going under the influence of small wind. Okay, so he conducted that experiment, that means feather and coin experiment, in a chamber. That means he took a glass chamber which is having an enclosure. It is an enclosed chamber, and he kept what feather and coin inside it. In the presence of air itself, he did this. So feather and coin, when we keep inside the glass chamber, it is at the bottom. Okay, and suddenly he reversed the chamber. So the situation becomes similar to free fall. That means both the coin and feather will be under free fall. He could see that the coin reaches first, and feather again it comes under the influence of air which is inside the chamber. So in the next step, what he did, see, all the things are shown in this slide. What he did is he conducted that experiment by taking evacuated chamber. That means from the glass chamber, he removed the air. So vacuum is there inside the chamber. And he did the same experiment. That means first he kept both feather and coin at the bottom of the chamber. Then suddenly he inverted the chamber. Then both coin and feather will be under free fall. What he could observe is now in this situation, both feather and coin, they were coming down simultaneously. That means same manner. That means at the same time simultaneously, and both of them reach the other end of the chamber at the same time. So from this set of experiments, what Galileo concluded is the acceleration due to gravity is a constant for all the objects irrespective of their masses. That means acceleration due to gravity, it do not depend on mass of the object. It is a constant for all the objects, whether it is 1 gram object or 100 kilogram object. For all the objects, acceleration due to gravity will be a constant, and its value also was determined, and that value is 9.8 meter per second square. So that acceleration due to gravity is 9.8 meter per second square. So what is the effect of this acceleration due to gravity? When it comes down, when a body, freely falling body, it falls down, its speed is increasing. At what rate its speed is increasing? At the rate 9.8 meter per second in 1 second. So its speed increases by 9.8 meter per second in 1 second. That way its speed is increasing. But for freely falling body, freely falling objects, we generally call them as negatively accelerated bodies. It is because that acceleration is acting in negative direction, that means downward direction. That way it becomes negatively accelerated motion, but actually what is happening to the speed is increasing. So it is negatively accelerated, but it is not a decelerated motion. It is, in this case, actually the speed is increasing. I have already told the word deceleration we will use only in the case where the speed is decreasing. So for bodies under free fall, the speed is increasing. So it is in negatively accelerated motion, and its speed is increasing at the rate 9.8 meter per second in 1 second. Okay, and that value, that's how we finalize that is a universally accepted value for all the objects irrespective of their mass. The value of acceleration due to gravity, it is 9.8 meter per second square. So once again, free fall is the downward motion of an object only under the influence of gravity, and the only force acting on the object is the force of gravitation. And in vacuum, all objects in free fall accelerate at the same rate, that is regardless of their masses, and that acceleration is found to be 9.8 meter per second square, and that acceleration is called acceleration due to gravity, and its value is represented with the letter G. Okay, so G is a positive quantity, that is 9.8 meter per second square. But when we do problems and all, when we take that acceleration, we have to write it as A equal to minus G, which we already discussed in one of the problems. Now we are going to plot the three graphs: position time graph, velocity time graph, and acceleration time graph for freely falling object. Okay, so for that, first we need to write the three equations of motion, because for plotting we need values, no. So for a freely falling body, so anywhere when you see freely falling body, you can write A is equal to minus G, that is minus 9.8 meter per second square. And for the object which is released, that means freely falling body, it starts from rest. So that starting point we are taking as y equal to 0. Since the motion is taking place in y direction, vertical direction, we take that x to be y. In the place of x, we simply write y, since it is in y direction. So initial position y0 we are taking as 0. y0 is 0. And since it starts from rest, no, its initial velocity is 0. Whenever a body starts from rest, so in the case of a body which is dropped, no, it starts from rest. So the thing is, this initial velocity is 0. So y0 is 0, v0 also is 0. So we know our first equation of motion is v is equal to v0 plus at. You can just substitute in this equation for V0 and A. So V0 is 0, A is minus G. So the equation becomes V is equal to V0 minus GT, or it is minus 9.8 T. So that is the first equation of motion, that is for freely falling object. Now coming to the second equation of motion, you know the second equation of motion, that is y minus y0, writing in terms of y. Okay, y minus y0 equal to v0t plus half a t square. That is the second equation of motion. Now here v0 is 0, a is minus g. So minus g by 2, 9.8 by 2, it becomes 4.9. So our equation becomes y is equal to minus half gt square, or it is minus 4.9 t square. That is the second equation of motion for freely falling body. Okay. Now the third equation we already know, that is v square equal to v0 square plus 2a into x minus x0. That means y minus y0. That's what we know. Okay. So v0 is 0, a is minus g, y0 also is 0. So our equation becomes v square equal to minus 2gy, because a is minus g, so minus 2gy, y0 is 0. So g is 9.8, so it becomes minus 19.6y. So that is the third equation for freely falling object. Now we will discuss how to draw graphs, position time graph. So first of all, you need to find the position. So using that second equation of motion, you can find out the positions at different instance of time, say 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, etc. 4.9 meter square, like that, 4.9 into 1, then minus 4.9 into 2 square, minus 4.9 into 3 square, like that. You will have the values like this. Okay, then plot the graph. So you will get the graph to be like this. So this is a what typical graph. It is the same for all freely falling objects. Okay, and the graph shape is like this, which again shows that the type of motion is negatively accelerated motion. So this is very important one, plotting the position time graph of a freely falling object. Now coming to velocity time graph. So velocity you can tabulate using first equation, v is equal to minus gt. Just to put t equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. You will get the values like this. Okay, then plotting the graph, you will get the graph like this. So this is a straight line graph. So this is the graph of velocity time graph for a freely falling object. Hope it is clear. And drawing acceleration time graph is very easy, because acceleration is same for all objects. Acceleration due to gravity 9.8. So the graph will be a straight line which is parallel to x-axis. So a question may come, plot the position time graph, velocity time graph and acceleration time graph for a freely falling object. So it may come as a 3-mark question. So prepare for that. Now, in relation with freely falling body, we have a law called Galileo's law of odd numbers. The law goes like this: the distances traversed during equal intervals of time by a body falling from rest stand to one another in the same ratio as the odd numbers beginning with unity. It's given as a question to prove it, but we are not going for the proof. We will just learn the law. So what does the law mean? The distances traversed during equal intervals of time by a freely falling body. That means equal intervals of time means we'll take an interval of time 2 seconds. So first 2 seconds, second 2 seconds, third 2 seconds. So in equal intervals of time, the distances traversed by a freely falling body. So it will not be equal because it is not a uniform motion. It is a uniformly accelerated motion. So that distances traversed by a freely falling body in equal intervals of time, it's not at all constant. Okay. And what about that distances traversed? That distances traversed will be in the ratio 1 is to 3 is to 5 is to 7 is to, like that it goes. Okay, so if we find the ratio of distances traversed in consecutive equal intervals of time, first 2 seconds, then second 2 seconds, third 2 seconds, like that in equal intervals of time, if we find the ratio of distances traversed, that ratio will be which ratio? 1 is to 3 is to 5 is to 7. That's what we mean by Galileo's law of odd numbers. Okay, that means in equal successive periods of time, the distances travelled by a freely falling body are proportional to the succession of odd numbers. That is, they are in the ratio 1 is to 3 is to 5 is to 7 is to etc. To whatever number of periods we can extend it. So just keep this law of odd numbers in mind, that proof is not required.